without further ado, I'd like to introduce Cynthia Spenla.
So I'm going to start the talk with a video.
I'm on the third day of my cleanse diet. All I have to do is drink maple syrup, lemon juice, pineapple, and water for all 3 meals. I just got some bikinis online, it says 2, so.
All right, so I chose this clip because I think we all can relate. I mean, who here hasn't stressed about bikini season or at least thought about doing the cayenne pepper cleanse? Like Ben said, I work with mainly women and girls who struggle with eating disorders and body image issues, and their answer to this question would be yes. And I think, yes, women struggle with this stuff more on the whole, but this image-obsessed and diet culture we live in today affects everyone. These issues don't just affect women, men are affected as well. So I want to talk a little bit about how did we get here as a culture, right? How did we get so disordered with our food, with how we relate to our bodies and our diets? So clearly over the past few years, there's been a rise in social media. The internet, Instagram, Facebook, everything. And this has all led to us becoming even more a culture of comparison. So keeping up with the Joneses used to be more of like a phrase or an abstract thought you'd have to deal with. Now we have to deal with it every morning we wake up when we turn on the computer. We know everything that people do and have, and we see it all the time. And this comparison is kind of eating away at our happiness, but it's also messing with our mindsets. Not only do we compare our money, do we compare our jobs, our houses, our kids, everything, but our bodies have turned into objects of comparison. It used to not be normal or common for girls to stand in front of the mirror in their underwear and take a selfie and post it for the world to see. That was not normal, and we probably would have considered that abnormal behavior. But now, millions of people like it and comment and encourage it. Something is clearly going on. So with this rise of the objectification of the body and comparison, this is leading to some pretty unhealthy and extreme behaviors with diet and exercise. And we can see this because people are living under this mindset of, I'll be happy when I look like her, when I have that six-pack, when I have my body back, then I'll be happy. This is such a lie, and it's driving us to do crazy things that are destroying our health in the long term. Like how many diet companies there are out there, they're like, drink our shake for 3 meals a day, nothing else for the rest of your life, and I guarantee you, you'll look like that model. That makes no sense, yet we're still doing it. Whether it's a pill, a surgery, a new diet, we're jumping on board to destroy our health because we think we'll be happy if we have a perfect body. And all these diets are promising instant results with no work. That's how they sell it. 10 pounds, 10 days, super easy. Just do my product. You'll be perfect. Look like this model. And it's such a lie because that's never going to lead us to happiness. It's going to destroy our health. And the hard work leads to happiness. Doing the work makes us happy. We can't shortcut this. So until we change our mindset as a culture, we're going to continue to be duped by this. More companies are going to invent new products, new pills. I think there's a debate of a new product coming out where it actually will just hook up to your stomach and remove the food so you can eat whatever you want. Yeah, that's disgusting and it's not okay. But there's an underlying disordered mindset going on. The mindset is at the root, and until we address that mindset, nothing's going to change. Trying to fix our country's obesity problem with more diets and more pills and more surgeries, it's just fueling the fire. There's no way to fix this problem without changing the way we relate to food, We relate to our bodies, and we relate to ourselves. So what do I mean by mindset? I'm talking about our beliefs, our thoughts, and our attitudes, because a mindset drives behavior. So when you look up the definition of a mindset, it's a set of beliefs, patterns, or thinking that drives behavior. So if we want to change behavior, we have to change our mindset. But instead, we're just trying to change our behaviors. This time I'll be stricter. This time I'll really do it. But we're ignoring the mind piece because no one wants to hear it. It's hard work. And you can see this way of thinking in our country and what's going on by all the unhealthy patterns of behavior that are going on with our body and weight loss. I mean, look at the most common dieting behavior that's going on. So common, every one of us has probably been trapped to it at some point. We're like, all right, I'm gonna go on a diet, I just need to get really strict, I'm gonna, restrict my calories and cut them down, exercise really hard. Well, it doesn't last because we have that thinking of, I need to lose 10 pounds in 10 days, I take extreme measures. Well, then what happens? We cheat, we fall off the wagon, or whatever you want to call it, and then we overcompensate, and we go and gorge ourselves with food because we felt deprived, and then we punish ourselves. We beat ourselves up. You're such a failure. You're never going to get this. You're so fat. I hate you. Well, then what does that drive us to do? Go back on the diet, punish us even more, this time even stricter. This time, I'm gonna cut your calories even more. This time, you have to go to 2 workout classes. No, 3. You need to run even harder. And we stay trapped in this cycle. Another common pattern that you see is I'm gonna wait till life's perfect to start my diet. New Year, Monday, summer. All we're looking for is to be perfect with that. Because starting in the new year, I'm gonna get my life together, I'm gonna be perfect. It's gonna be perfect. Or we want our life to feel in control. So we have this illusion that Monday, I'm gonna wake up and all of a sudden my life is gonna be perfect, and then I can start eating perfectly, because that's the way life works. Well, then Monday comes around and maybe 10 a.m. on your diet, and you maybe drink apple juice for breakfast. You're starving, you're beating yourself up, and you're already ready to gorge, and what happens? Oh, next Monday. The issue there is we're dying for control, and we're looking for it in the wrong place. We're trying to control our life versus going inside and dealing with those emotions and those thoughts that are out of control. So that's another pattern you see. And then another one that I'm not a huge fan of, and you see it a lot in the personal training world, is this cheat meal idea. I'm not a fan of rewarding yourself with destroying yourself. I just don't understand it. Oh, I've been good all week, I deserve these 3 margaritas and whatever it is. It's putting food in a very disordered relationship. It's not okay. There's people in other countries that they don't have this problem because they don't have the excess of food that we have. And this is not okay. It's not a healthy way to relate to food. And we see it all the time, whether it's gorging yourself with food, punishing yourself, using it as a drug or a number. It does not create a healthy relationship with food. So, how do we change our mindset? If we want to escape this cycle and these cycles that you see going on everywhere, this is the main attitude of what's going on in our culture, right? How common is this conversation? I'm so bad, you deserve it, cheat, oh my gosh, starting this new diet. This is mainstream talk, and that is nuts. And if you want to escape it, which I hope you all do, as someone who's lived trapped in it before and now isn't, life is so much better. So really, but it's hard work. And so I wanted to give y'all a few things of what helps you kind of transform your mindset and free you from these negative patterns. So first, I want to talk about mindfulness. This is definitely a buzzword in our society right now, right? We hear it all the time. What I mean by this is being present. Okay, even that can sound hard sometimes. What I mean by that is how much of our day and the way we relate to food, mindlessly eating, Numbing. We live in our heads. We are the most medicated society, an anxious and depressed society, and it starts here. We're living in the future, we're living in the past, we're all crazy in here. Being mindful is being present, listening to what's going on in your head, understanding that you're eating because you're stressed. You're eating because of whatever emotion is going on, loneliness, anxiety, tuning into that and acknowledging it. But we're so afraid to experience emotion in our culture, we want to numb it. We haven't come that far from the pacifier. Food is an amazing number. It comes right in our mouth. It makes us feel amazing. Like, that's what's going on. And being mindful is just listening to what's going on in our head and making conscious choices. So when we're present and we're not just driven by this impulsive emotional behavior with food or being very busy and on the go, we're able to make conscious choices. That's half the battle. Because half of it, we're eating in the car, we're eating standing up, it's fast food, life is hard, I get it. So half the battle is just being present and aware as you eat. One of my favorite practices that I do with all my clients, I don't do meal plans, I don't do diets. I teach you how to build a healthy relationship with food. One of my favorite challenges is to sit down, no TV, no cell phone. Look at your food and say grace. Thank God for having food that day and eat it with respect. And half the time we're so busy in our society, we don't go back for seconds because we slowed down and we ate the meal. We're ready to go. Like, we need to go and move on to our next thing that day. So I know you won't be able to do that every meal, but you can still practice that conscious awareness with your food always before you eat it, to have that respect for it because it's going into your body. Self-talk. This is a huge one. I talk to myself all the time. I know a lot of girls probably deal with this a lot more, but this is so important. If we want to change our mindsets, we have to change our thoughts. Half the time we are so mean to ourselves, but we're nicer to other people. But half the time our thoughts in our heads, you're so ugly, you'll never look like her, you're such a failure, you're never gonna have that body, you can't do that. Like, it's constant beating yourself up. No wonder we drive ourselves to food to numb ourselves. We're living with a bully in our head. So until we change that self-talk, we're going to continue to be slaves of that voice that says, you're not good enough. You'll never be good enough. And it's going to drive us to stay in this pattern. How we change our self-talk, again, my other favorite challenge with all my clients, I always say, who do you love most in life? And they'll name that person. And I say, all right, you have to talk to yourself as you would that person. The rule is, if you wouldn't tell that person that, you're not allowed to tell yourself that. Because girls, we always nitpick us. I hate this about you, your fat knees, this and that. Would you ever tell that to a friend? No, she wouldn't be friends with you. Like, that's the truth. So another really, really good thing with self-talk is gratitude. And that's another buzzword today in our culture, and that's good. The practice of gratitude is real. Life is precious. And I know this sounds like an extreme example, but at any moment we can leave here and go get in a car crash and be paralyzed or not be able to walk. If you're in a hospital bed, you're going to be pretty annoyed at yourself for beating yourself up for your chubby knees for the past few years. Because at that moment, you would do anything to walk. But that's what we do. Rather than being grateful for all that we can do and all that we have, we compare. Well, this chick on Instagram, who I don't know, has a six-pack. Therefore, I need one. Okay. If you want to live in that mindset, you can. But it's never going to lead you to happiness. So really having that practice of gratitude every time you show up at a workout. You see yourself in the mirror and you want to criticize yourself, you want to compare yourself to that girl who's going harder than you have to stop. I'm thankful for what I can do today. I'm thankful for what I can do today. And that's going to make all the difference in the world. And the last one is self-love. Now, I want to clarify this because we have a very misunderstanding of what self-love means. Half the time when I say this, people are like, what? I don't know what that means. It sounds abstract. Or like, if I love myself, that means I'm going to let myself go. And I'm like, what? That makes no sense. Like, no. But that shows what a disordered mindset we even have about love in our country. It's like treating yourself like a kid. Okay? You don't just let your kids do whatever they want because they feel like it. You have to make choices that are in their best interest. We're all still little kids inside. I want, give me. We're all still that little kid. Yes, we don't have our parents doing it for us. Now it's our job. You have to love yourself as you would that kid and to treat yourself by making those choices that are best for you in the long term. Love is an action, love is a choice, and love is a habit. It is not a feeling. The feelings come and go, but we cannot be ruled by feelings and emotion, especially when it comes to treating our self-care, relating to food, and our health, because it's gotten us nowhere. I'm going to end with a story because even this path is not as simple as a diet. It's not going to be perfect. If you leave this table and like, all right, I'm going to love myself next 21 days and then I'll have it all figured out, you're going to fail. Life is imperfect. We are imperfect. And you got to be okay with that. It's going to be messy. It's going to look like this. You're going to struggle. And I'm going to share this story for you, for all those who, think once you have, this status or this body or, whatever, that it goes away. And that's such a lie. Half the time celebrities and models struggle with body image the most. So we tell ourselves this lie and we think that, it's going to be easy for such and such. Or if I lost this weight, then I wouldn't struggle with it. No, this is an everyday practice. So this story actually happened this week. As I was preparing for this talk, I went and met with a friend who helps me kind of work out all my business stuff. It's really intense, and it lasted longer than I had expected. So I planned to be home for dinner, but we went longer. We're talking about it. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about this talk. I was, we were going over everything, and I was getting really stressed out. And I was getting really hungry. And when I'm hungry, I feel it in my head. Like my brain literally starts to get really stressed. So I'm driving home, and I want a kaleidoscope muffin. If you've ever had them, they're glorious. They're like gluten-free, vegan, pure sugar. They're awesome. And I make the choice. No, I'm gonna get one. This is what I'm gonna do. And I'm all about making conscious choices for treats. Like when you make that choice, it's your decision. You accept it and you deal with it. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go get my muffin. So I get there and I ask the woman, I'm like, all right, what flavors do you have? And she lists like chocolate banana and like raspberry this. I'm like, they both sound good. I'll get both, eat half of each, and give the other half to my husband, as any girl would, right? Like my husband gets both halves. So I'm driving home and I'm still stressed about this talk. I'm thinking about it because I could talk about this if I didn't have a 20-minute limit and I have no idea where I am right now, for like 7 years, because I could come at it from all different angles. I love this topic. So I'm going over in my head, and I'm stressed, I'm nervous, I'm thinking about it. I start mindlessly eating the muffins, right? So I'm not being conscious. I'm not practicing mindful eating. And what happens? I ate them both. I definitely ate them both. And immediately, the self-taught gremlins start saying, you're no good. You can't give this talk to people. You're such a hypocrite. You don't have it figured out. How can you go tell people to do this if you still struggle with it? So what happens is the choice right there in that moment. Because, right, love is a choice, and we have it at every moment of our lives. Luckily, I've been trained I've been working my ass off to get better with my mindset, but I was able to turn it right away. Don't talk to me like that. Shut out the gremlins. Forgave myself. No, that wasn't the most loving choice that I did to myself. But the difference is what I did from there. Because had I stayed in that destructive mindset of you're no good, who are you to do this, it would have led me either to go home and continue to eat and emotionally numb this bully in my head. Maybe I would have told myself, well, starting tomorrow, you're going to be on a strict diet and you're never eating a kaleidoscope muffin again. That's not true. They're really good. And then maybe I would have gone immediately to the gym to exercise off my guilt. That's what we do. Instead, I dealt with the stress. I dealt with what was going on inside. I actually took the next day off, journaled, practiced yoga, went and talked to people that helped me work through the stress and made me feel better. And I went back to life as normal. I messed up, but I made the choice to love myself. And that's what freed me from that cycle that it could have gone into. So yes, we're going to mess up. You're going to be imperfect with it. But the best thing about it is with self-love, you have the opportunity at each moment to change that cycle, to free yourself from it. So this is what we want for you all at NSL90. We're not here to sell you our new diet, our new secret, nothing like that. We're here to help you come into freedom. Because once you've experienced it, you'll never go back. I'll never go on any crazy diet ever again. I'll never do that to myself. I've lived it. I don't want to do it again. And I see girls every day killing themselves for it. And I never want to be trapped in that again. So this is kind of what we're offering y'all and what we hope to teach you all. And you have a culture here, and you can change this microculture. And from that, go out and change the world. But it starts with yourself and with changing this culture at Crown and implementing these practices and helping each other with how we speak about ourselves and how we speak to each other. And if you hear someone speaking about themselves in a negative way, call it out. If you hear about your girlfriend starting a juice fast, call it out. Because in the long run, it's destroying your health. And when you love someone, you take care of them, right? So it starts with you, and then it spreads outward. So thank you so much for your time. I'm going to end it with namaste, but let me know if you have any questions at all. This is a good time. If you have anything you want to add to it or any questions, please feel free. And I'm here teaching the classes on Tuesday and Thursday, and I love this stuff. So if you feel more comfortable coming up to me privately, go for it. All right? Have a good one.